The purse, $500,000. The distance, as it was in the earlier years, 1 mile and 3/16, also the same distance as the Preakness. Track condition is fast today, temperature 73, couldn't be nicer. The wind is negligible. Now as for the odds, and these are as of this moment. Little Bull John is a local favorite. He's won more than $1 million, being held at 11-1. Ali Sheba, a strong favorite, as you see, at 3-5. Luck, we met at 40-1. It's probably an overlay because it's a very nice horse, winner of the Excelsior Handicap the last 2 years. Crypto Clearance, he's always in there, 6-1, and now held as third choice, along with Bet Twice, the winner of the Belmont last year. Lost Code, second choice at 3-1. The colors on the left are the colors that the jockeys will be wearing. Those are the silks of the 6 horses in the race. Now, let's take a look at the weights, because this is a handicap. The racing secretary, if you're not familiar with it, decides who should carry the heaviest weight on the basis of their past records. He says Ali Sheba by 1 pound over Lost Code. Bet Twice today gets a 3-pound edge in the weight. Crypto Clarence gets 6 pounds. Little Bull John and Lack We Met each get 10. So, that's where we are now. Let's bring in Charles E. Canty, our expert on the sport. And old Ali Sheba, I'll tell you, he is something else this year, isn't he?
He's back, Jim, but he's changed as thoroughbreds do from age 3 to 4. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's tougher, both physically and mentally. And you know, Jim, last week you were talking about 3-year-olds being more hope than accomplishment on Derby Day. And no horse fits the bill better than Ali Sheba did. Now that he's earned $4 million, it's hard to believe that 53 weeks ago he was eligible for non-winners other than maiden or claiming, but he lost that condition in rather dramatic style, Derby Day '87. When Bet Twice and Ali Sheba staged their close encounters through the stretch in last year's Kentucky Derby, we saw a vivid display of the essence of the thoroughbred racehorse. Great courage, enormous heart, and sheer determination. Despite being involved in a near tragic incident, Ali Sheba would not give up, refused to be denied the victory. Now at the age of 4, Ali Sheba has matured into one of the best of his generation, confirming the faith of his trainer, Jack Van Berg.
I told you a year ago, before we ever run the Derby, Chelsea, this horse was something special. And I don't want you to think I'm getting goofy or crazy, but I really do believe it. They'll think at one time this horse was one of the greatest horses of all time. He's got so much talent, and if he just stays sound, he'll show it.
As a 4-year-old, Ali Sheba is better than ever. He's undefeated this year, winning all 3 starts in California, twice beating arch rival Ferdinand. He's done everything that's asked of him. He's the kind of horse who'll only do just what's necessary.
He is so intelligent that he knows when he beats them horses. Today at the Santa Anita Handicap, when he beat them horses, he was doing a dance out there in the racetrack after we unsaddled him and took his picture, and he just was prancing out there. So it's such a pleasure to be around him. I feed him peppermints in the morning, and he hollers for me when he comes in, when I come in the barn, and you look forward to going and see him every morning.
Racing fans like seeing Ali Sheba in the afternoon as he stages one of the most memorable stretch drives in racing history. But even a heart-pounding finish like this one and another big payday doesn't faze Jack Van Berg.
As far as my lifestyle, it hasn't changed any. I'll never change if I live to be 100 years old, and if I win 5,000 more races, I'm going to be the same as I always was. I don't want to be fancy. I don't want to be big shot or nothing. I'm just plain and just country. That's all I want to be. I don't want to be highfalutin.
As far as victories are concerned, it's 2-2 between Ali Sheba and his arch rival. There he is, Bet Twice. You know, the connections of Ali Sheba, the Scarboroughs of Midland, Texas, the owners, and jockey Chris McCarron are all as respected as sportsmen as their trainers. So are Bob and Sissy Levy, the owners of Bet Twice, and their jockey. For more on that right now, here's Dave Johnson.
Well, Jim, not only is this race special, the people who surround it are extraordinary sportsmen and athletes. Take, for example, the rider of Bet Twice. 37-year-old Craig Perret has been jockeying horses since he was a kid in his native Louisiana, and he's grown up in front of our eyes, as you'll see. But he is not your average, ordinary jockey. In his list of priorities, well, winning the big race comes after family and loyalty.
When Jennifer was 2 years old, I realized that I wanted to spend the time with her because I was away from her for 2 months. I was in Florida, and I was just coming in on the weekends to see her, and it just wasn't enough on me. I could notice big changes in her, and I wasn't there to see them as they were happening, and I didn't want to miss that with her. I didn't want to wait till she was 16 and then say, gee, I missed your childhood and didn't grow up with you. I think first things are first, and for me, that's first, is to grow up with him.
Craig has been a major presence from his baby-faced apprentice days through his 20s when he met his future wife, Jan.
About a week before Belmont, I started having dreams. First night I dreamt I was in the paddock and I saw everything, all the horses. The next night I dreamt they were going out onto the track and the race started and they all went around and Craig won. And I kept every morning getting up telling Craig, I keep having these strange dreams every night, you're going to win the Belmont. So I have to keep going back and looking at the daily news and seeing Craig on the front page with the trophy to make sure it really did happen.
The Belmont was a feeling that was unbelievable. I can never explain the feeling. And right now I can talk about it and I can see a replay of it and get very emotional over it. It was one terrific feeling.
This spring, Perret was in his usual spot with Bet Twice in the saddle and on to the winner's circle following his 88 debut. But they lost their second start in the Ben Alley Handicap as the overwhelming favorite. Now back in March, Craig added another customer to his list, Lost Code. And in their trio of races together, they won all three by a combined total of over 19 lengths. It was a heady twosome. But when push came to shove, loyalty won out.
I've done very well with Bet Twice. The people have taken care of me very well. We're friends. And when I accepted the mount with Lost Code, they knew in the future, if they would come together, the two horses again, that I would ride Bet Twice.
Well, Craig Perret had to make a tough choice between Lost Code and Bet Twice. And of course, he took Bet Twice, but more not for Lost Code. The Cinderella horse will be ridden by Pat Day, as talented a rider as you will find. There he is, Lost Code on his home grounds. The Baltimore Bombshell, undefeated this year. He'll be out in front. You can be sure of that when we come back for the race. This next week. Well, Charlesy, they're nearing the starting gate. Let's take a look here at number 4. That is little Crypto Clearance. He makes all the dances, doesn't he?
He does, Jim. He's so consistent, and he's another one who's transmitted a little age and maturity from 3 to 4. He's a little bit bigger and stronger. He's been 4 straight seconds in 4 stakes this year, beaten less than 2 lengths in all of them. He always closes ground, so the extra distance today will help, and he's getting 3 to 6 pounds from the big boys.
He was 3rd here in the Preakness last year, 2nd in the Belmont. Let's have a look now at the local favorite, winner of more than $1 million, oldest horse, 6-year-old gelding, Little Bold John.
He's a little iron horse is what he is. 24 wins in 59 starts. He's looking for his 6th straight here at Pimlico. He's got a little bit of a home court advantage, and he might even be a little giant killer because he beat Lady Secret last year in Florida.
Of course, he will bolt out of the starting gate to take the lead. Jockey Donnie Miller won the Preakness here in 1983 with deputed testimony. Like we met is the long shot in the field and really doesn't deserve 30 to 1 odds, but somebody's got to be the long shot.
What can you say, Jim? He's a multiple New York graded stakes winners with earning of over $500,000. He's won the Excelsior Handicap twice, and still he's a long shot.
I'll tell you, trainer Bill Donovan could never have imagined that he would be here with Lost Code today. 2 years ago, he was training here at Pimlico and Laurel. He had gotten to the point where he literally could not pay his rent. He came upon this horse at a car wash, but that's a story we might tell after the race is over. Pat Day riding him today for the first time. Here's how he sees this race being run.
Well, certainly it looks like my horse is the speed of the race. Laquamet could show a little bit of early foot, but I don't believe he's got the speed that this, that Lost Code does. And I anticipate being on the front end, and hopefully this colt will relax. I don't believe they're going to let me steal off a long ways. I'm sure that Ali Sheba and Bet Twice and Laquamet, they'll all be coming after me. They're not going to allow me the liberty of just setting my own pace. But this colt's very game, and I tell you what, this could be the race of the century right here.
Well, he's certainly recovered from his operation, I think, Charlesy.
Jim, remember, he raced most of the latter half of last year with a chip in his knee, and still he was only beaten a half a length in the Haskell. Now that chip's gone, he's even better. He's undefeated this year, and he's been a real dynamo.
Ali Sheba in the blue and white check silks there of Dorothy and Pamela Scarborough.
Chris McCarron very casually going to the post with his feet out of the irons. Ali Sheba was really imposing in the paddock. He walked in as if he knows that he has gotten so big and strong and powerful. He looked terrific.
Post positions will be the same as the saddle claws here, and here are the odds. The silk colors on the left. Little Bull John at 12-1 now. Ali Sheba, the 3-5 favorite. Like We Met at 30-1. Then the third choices you saw, though Clearance and Bet Twice at 5-1. The second choice, Lost Code, at 2-1. They're loading the stakes record, Tom Fool. The track record, Tanks Prospect in the Preakness 3 years ago. Now up to Dave Johnson for the call.
And let's watch and listen to them as they move into line for the Pimlico Special. Bet Twice and Lost Code behind the gate.
Go the outside. One back. Go back.
They're all in line. And they're on. On the outside, Lost Code quickly shows the early speed. Along the inside, Little Bull John right there. Ali Sheba between horses in third. Then comes Lock We Met in fourth, with Bet Twice on the outside, and 4 lengths back to the trailer. Crypto Clearance as they pass the stands for the first time. The battle on the front end. Little Bull John along the inside. Lost Code on the outside. Little Bull John takes command by a neck. Lost Code on the outside is right there in second. Gap of a length and a half, and Ali Sheba races third by 1. Lock We Met fourth on the outside. Bet Twice is fifth along the inside, and then it's some 9 lengths farther back to the trailer. Crypto Clearance, who is 12 lengths off the lead. Down the back stretch, Lost Code on the outside with Pat Day to the front by a neck. Little Bull John along the inside, second by 2. Ali Sheba content to sit in third at this point, biding his time. On the outside, Lock We Met is fourth. Bet Twice is fifth, about 4 lengths off the lead, and then the trailer, Crypto Clearance. The half in 46-2. That's faster than last year's Preakness, won by Ali Sheba. Now they're starting to bunch up on the front. Lost Code leads it. Ali Sheba is in second by a half length. Lock We Met races there. Bet Twice on the outside, circling up a closer fourth. Little Bull John dropping back at the rail in fifth. The Crypto Clearance is the trailer. 5 lengths separate the field as they come to the top of the stretch. Lost Code in front. Along the inside, here comes Bet Twice. Bet Twice with Craig Perret cuts the corner and takes command. Bet Twice in front. On the outside, Lost Code. Crypto Clearance is flying, and down the stretch they come. Bet Twice toward the inside. Lost Code on the outside. They're straight for stride and hit. Now on the inside, Bet Twice with a short lead. Lost Code second. Crypto Clearance third. Bet Twice wins it by 3 parts of a length with Craig Perret in the irons. On the outside, it was Lost Code, and Crypto Clearance flying at the finish with Ali Sheba unofficially fourth. Time of the race 1 minute 54 and 1/5 seconds. That's quite a bit faster than last year's Preakness. But Bet Twice wins it. The winner of last year's Belmont and Haskell comes back and takes the Pimlico Special in 88.
Bet Twice winning it in a new stakes record of 154 1/5, beating the record set by Tom Fool a long time ago. It is still off the track record, however, which was set in the Preakness 3 years ago by Tanks Prospect. Bet Twice then has won the third in his 5, not his 5 meetings, but the 5 winning confrontations between him and Ali Sheba. He's won 3 now, Ali Sheba 2. Ali Sheba has been beaten is the big news of the day, I think, but perhaps now, Charlesy, Bet Twice will begin to get the due that he has been earning for more than a year now.
Many horsemen felt that he was coming up to this race as good as a horse could ask for. He'd had 2 starts after quite a long layoff, and he was really peaking to put up a good race, and he did that today. There is the disappointment. Ali Sheba, possibly the weight, the strain of the battles in California with Ferdinand, but he is beaten today. Take nothing away from Bet Twice. A great ride from Craig Perret.
Okay, there's Bob leaving, waving an arm in the air, and his wife Sissy in the pink just behind him. Terrific people, lovers of this sport. He'll go anywhere that he thinks helps the sport of racing. A lot of people thought that Bet Twice would be short. He had only run twice this year. He won the first time. Then he was beaten in the Ben Alley handicap by Home Builder, of course, supposed to be his inferior. But the trainer, Jimmy Kroll, who's a very conservative man, after that race said, okay, it was all right. It was just what he needed.
It was indeed what he needed. 1 1/8 he just was beaten ahead. It set him up perfectly for today. He'd worked well. Now watch this move. As they came around the turn for home, Lost Code was still on the lead. Ali Sheba had made a move at him, and Lock We Met actually was making a move on the outside. But there's Bet Twice. He cuts through on the inside, waits for second to be sure he can get by Lost Code, and there he goes. He's home free and scoots through the stretch. I don't think it was in much doubt, expecting Lost Code to give way, but does not. He's such a doggedly determined colt. He hangs on, and the 2 of them fight it out. Crypto Clearance at this point is outside, and the purple and white silk. He's going to cut behind these 2, flying for through the stretch to finish third. And there's Ali Sheba flattening out in the stretch, unable to rise to the challenge today. But look at that twice and lost code. This may be the new rivalry, Jim.
Think about the rise, Charlie, that Craig Perret has given that colt. I mean, he has just given him brilliant rides every time.
I think they've got a little magic between those two, Craig Perret and Bet Twice. Happy fella.
There on the right and on the left, Lost Code, the Cinderella story. There, Jockey Chris McCarron shrugging his shoulders, trainer Jack Van Berg, who told me last week that nobody in the world could beat Ali Sheba right now, and he believed it. But every horse has his day, and every horse has his bad day. Craig Perret, the family man from Louisiana.
If you run them often enough, Jim, they will get beaten.
Remember that it is unofficial. We'll be back with the official results, but it's Bet Twice, Lost Code, and Crypto Clearance.
Where he needs to be. I think he's going to be the key.
Get back here, because they're coming out this way.